Denton Davidson here for Gold Derby. I am joined by Tim Galvin, the production designer behind the flashy and historic sets on Nat Geo's Genius Aretha. Tim, thanks for talking with me today. And I'm just going to start off asking, what were your first thoughts when you found out you'd be leading the production design for an Aretha Franklin bioseries?
Oh, well, I was thrilled. I mean, what could be better? I, it, I was so happy to be invited onto the job, and it just seemed like a really great surprise for me, and I'm so happy it worked out. It was it all was very serendipitous. It came together in a very quick way, and I was just so excited to go on in. I mean, reading the script, it was like, well, this is going to be some kind of great job,
Yeah. And when a series spans decades like this, I mean, I think it goes back as far as the 1940s with some of the scenes with her
Indeed.
parents.
Mm-hmm.
Is it overwhelming to have to put together something that goes across so many eras as opposed to maybe a series or film that's set in the same time period?
Well, there's different techniques there, and different challenges. I think it's not overwhelming because you can only it's an hour show, right? How much can
Yeah.
there be? Although, we shot a lot more than got used. So, there was plenty of material. I think, it's divided up. So like the episodes were pretty discrete, and that helps with the process, of working. Having to cover all that ground, it's the challenges there are to make sure that you know where you are, right?
Right.
And you're sort of getting the things into the frame there that will really tell the tale of the moment, and getting rid of the things that shouldn't be there.
And
So
when you get the script, I mean, do you work off the script for what you want to create, or do you meet with the director and the cinematographer, or are they just like, you're the production designer, let's figure it out?
Well, yeah, if only it was so. The script is our guide, right? And fortunately, SLP had kind of outlined the framework we were gonna shoot in. So we sort of knew the high points of what was coming, and you could look ahead to that and try to find the things that would really punch the moment up for the scenes and the settings. I worked with Anthony and Kevin McKnight, the DP, really closely, of course. It was really fun to work with those guys. And unlike some shows, the DP was able to come early enough in the process, so that we could really kind of work out some of our overarching ideas, and about I don't know, it wasn't too far into the preparation process that Anthony decided to do the business with the black and white.
Yeah.
And so that kind of, that was a whole other layer, right, of design work and coordination with Kevin and everyone else, really, the costumes and all that stuff too. But it was fun. It was fun to do that.
And Aretha's childhood home is a major set and focus point in the series. What type of references did you have for that? Did you have pictures, or did you just base it off of homes in the Detroit area of that era?
Well, thin, I would say, very thin references. I mean, Reverend Franklin's home is still there. It's in Detroit. You can look it up on Google Earth. It's the one that was sort of their main home there that we chose to model our set after. uh, there's not really pictures of the inside so much. So, but we had the outside, and we knew what the neighborhood was like, and the architecture of the house, and that sort of thing, the color. So, it was something to start with. And we had, of course, a set is made for the scenes that are going to take place in there. It's not like we're saying, well, this is the way this room was, and you got to stage your set scene in there.
Right.
So we, the outside, we sort of found a location that modeled the real place as, as good as we could do in Atlanta. And then the interiors, we sort of did our matchy business, and then we made that be the style of what the building would have been, and to suit our purposes for the filming.
And another major part of the story is the recording sessions. It was fascinating to see sort of that old equipment. Where do you pull that in from?
Well, our decorator, Christy Suffield, God bless her, she's got her little, tentacles everywhere. But there's a world, just like, aficionados of every possible, topic. There are sound gear guys scattered around the country, and they hoard these things and rebuild them, and then you can rent them. So we had, truckloads of stuff coming from different parts of the country, and to build those things. And it was tricky in terms of the eras, because that equipment changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
From, every couple years there was some advance, especially in the control equipment. And some of it's pretty well known. I mean, the studios, Atlantic and the Fame studio in Muscle Shoals, those are like, that's hallowed ground for musicians, right?
Pretty iconic studios.
People know what they're like. Famous recordings were made there, and there's tons of pictures and videos and all that of those spaces. And so we felt that we really had to try to honor the truth and experience that the musicians would have had there. So that was kind of like let's make our version of these spaces, and make it fit what we need, but also be symbolic of the real thing. And then we just outfitted them.
Right.
But I felt like it was important. Some people might say, oh, who will ever know? It's a glass wall, and they're over here, and the thing with the dials is over there. But no, it's not.
You did
like
your
that.
homework for sure.
Yeah, and we used it a lot. The Atlantic studio is in like 5 episodes or something.
And we see so much of the behind the scenes and at home. So one of the exciting episodes is when she's at the Aladdin Theater in Las Vegas. So, I mean, that's show business. Was it fun to create that and recreate that moment?
Oh, of course. I mean, doing a real sort of theatrical set was a lot of fun. And, bringing back the 70s and the disco and all the many light bulbs and that stuff was pretty great. And I had Christie's guys mirror that grand piano, and it was great, and really fun to do, and great that we used it in 2 episodes. So that got a little more value out of the set, and I felt like, and Anthony was the one driving all this stuff, is that she's a big star at that point, right? Playing Vegas. So he was like, no holds, don't hold back, and that's why, Draco got the dancers and the whole, accompaniment of the scene to really boost it up and make her famous.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. Is there a specific episode or set that was your favorite, or or more
Mm.
challenging than the others?
Well, I think the sets that were her apartment in New York,
Oh yeah.
which was kind of in the middle episodes there.
After she had, made it.
Yeah, she had some money and she got this apartment, and that's where like the Time magazine guy comes to interview them, and so that was for 3 episodes, and that, I thought that was fun because we built that set because it was
Yeah.
going to be needed for so long, and it was a chance to be more stylish with the decor because she could afford it then.
Right.
And so that set really turned out great. Christy really had fun doing that with the crushed velvet sofas, and it was pretty fun. The other sequences that I really enjoyed were the gospel tour stuff with the tent that we did, the gospel
Yeah.
tent in the beginning there, and then all their goofy shows as she's growing up. That was really fun to do, and really unusual. You don't get many chances to do a gospel tent.
Is that something you learned well on this project? Like, what is there anything about Aretha Franklin that you learned that you just thought, wow, I didn't know that about her?
Oh, well, sure. There's all kinds of things, because she was famously, very protective of her image.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things, I think that her activism was something that wasn't, advertised so much. So that was a nice thing to know about, that she really did, support the movement of Dr. King and everybody. And I think just the reality of how much a role her father played
Right.
is something that you don't really think until you look into it more. I mean, he was quite famous, and I knew about Reverend Franklin, in his own right, but just the connection that they had was something that it was kind of revealed, in the story.
And it was such a different era because, I mean, along the civil rights lines, I mean, today people are sort of expected to speak out, but back then her record label sort of like was afraid she
Mm.
would turn people off. So it seemed like
Yeah,
kind of a different time.
it was risky to do that. Those people are supposed to just stay in their place and sing their song and all of that stuff. And she just, found a way to help.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that part of that is, because of her faith,
Yeah.
and her background with her father and everything, because, he was a artist, right, of in his own way, but also a humanitarian. Their church did a lot of good things, and she saw that and knew that.
And you've been in this business for over 30
I
years or
guess so,
something
yeah.
like that. Sets like that you've worked on, like Lean on Me, Silence of the Lambs,
Yeah.
Philadelphia, some pretty big moments. Do you remember that first set that you walked on and you were like, wow, this is what I want to do?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I got the bug very early for show business in high school, doing plays. So that was a long time ago now, 12th night,
Yeah.
in high school. But, I went to theater school and learned stage design. And then I did a lot of theater work in New York before doing a film. Uh, and that, I think, is a good grounding for this business,
Yeah.
and especially for any kind of dramatic material. And it's sort of what I guess I'm, kind of good at doing or something now. But it comes from that world. So I had an opportunity to work on a film early on that was pretty great, actually. It's a little movie called Desert Bloom. It takes place in
Mm.
Las Vegas in the 50s. And, it was like a nice, real story, and it was a good introduction
Yeah.
to the film business.
And you've been around so many people now. I mean, you've been around most people in the business, I'm sure. Is there any star along the way that sort of starstruck you still, that you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm working with this person?
Oh, well, lots of different people, of course. I mean, some directors are kind of like
Yeah,
that, I mean, the great Jonathan Demme, may he
yeah,
rest in peace. I was really lucky to work with him a few times. And for like designers, Patricia von Brandenstein was a great impact on me, and Stuart Wurtzel, her husband, and Christy Zia and I have done a lot of things together. That's been very fruitful. I think, like, actor wise and stuff, people can be really nice to you sometimes. You know, we had a funny experience on Silence of the Lambs, and we, at the end of the movie, he goes off to the islands, right? He
right.
escapes, Lecter escapes to the islands. So we shot that in Bimini, and I had gone down there like early, to get the sets ready. And Anthony Hopkins had come down there too, because he wasn't needed for what they were shooting those scenes in the basement with Mr. Gum. So he said, we were in Pittsburgh, it was freezing cold, and so he came down to the Bahamas and hung around, and he would like hang around with us down there, because it's such a tiny little place. He didn't know what to do. So sometimes you get kind of cozy. When I was doing Bloodline down in the Florida Keys,
Yeah,
we got to be pretty friendly with everybody there, because it's, you were in your little world there. You're kind of stuck there. And those experiences were pretty nice. Got to be pretty friendly with Sissy Spacek and those people who were in the show. And that was really nice. I like that stuff.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you see star power, that can happen sometimes.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Uh, yeah, I remember I was assisting on a concert tour that Liza Minnelli was doing. And we had built these sets and, gone out to, prepare the show in Seattle, I guess. And we're having this like run through, and she's like doing it, and I thought, oh boy, that's pretty good, this is going to be a good tour. And then that night is opening night, and she comes out on the stage, and it was like someone just turned it up to 11, like in Spinal Tap, and it's like a different person on the stage. And I thought,
Wow.
holy cow, that is what they mean, star power.
Yeah.
When you encounter it, you know it.
Well, I mean, congratulations on Aretha the series. I mean, the sheer number of sets alone is an impressive feat. I want to ask all our viewers to subscribe to Gold Derby and head over to goldderby.com to make your Emmy predictions. Thanks, Tim, so much for chatting with me. And it was great to learn more about you and your work in this series.
Sure, thanks, and wish us luck.